You are listening to the Marc Guzman Podcast Experience. I just want to thank you so much for listening to this podcast. It means the world to me. And this is going to be the very first episode, debuting this on August 3rd, but we're debuting with a few other episodes. So we're really trying to give you as much content as possible at launch. And we've got a really great lineup of guests uh, and wines and beers that we have coming up that I think you guys will definitely enjoy. So again, thank you for listening to this podcast. So one of the reasons why I wanted to really launch this podcast, besides featuring a lot of local people who live here in the Bay Area, is also to expand a little bit more on my business, what I do, and give some people tips and advice on strategies for their own business. Um, I specialize in real estate and property management. So a lot of my business advice will be around that industry. However, if you pay attention to a lot of the strategies that I use, you could really apply that to almost any business. I'll give you an example. So, one of the questions, if you follow my career, you'll notice that in the last few years, I've really grown and expanded my business. In fact, 2016 alone, I increased it by fivefold, which, I'm super grateful. And it's been an amazing journey. And I know there's a lot more things happening now at a much higher level. And I'm excited for all of you to be joining me on this journey. So, really, really excited for that. Uh, but one question I get from a lot of people has been asking me advice for tips and tricks or strategy advice on how to really make a brand or how to make a brand stand out. Because one thing, if you look at a lot of my social media marketing pieces, you'll see my name branded everywhere. You'll see my URLs with Marc Guzman Homes or at Marc Guzman Homes. And it all comes down to branding. I wanted to make this episode with a few tips on branding, and hopefully you can take one thing back from this podcast episode and put it into your business, and hopefully you can see a little bit of growth happen. So, one of the first things I tell people is you need to find out what makes your business stand out from the competition. You need to ask yourself what truly makes your brand different. You need to reverse engineer your customers and your actual brand. So that means you need to go out and do some competitive research and really look at it from the perspective of your own clients and customers. What makes your brand different? Why should your customers buy from you, or why should they use your services instead of the competitors? What is your target audience and why should they work for you? So these are all items that you need to research and figure out. And once you figure it out, then you can reverse that and apply that to your marketing. And sometimes it may, and even your products too, you might even have to adjust your marketing and your products to fit what your clients and customers really want in order for you to increase your business. Another tip is you need to develop a marketing plan that is uniquely your own. So, a logo, social media presence, a mission statement, whatever you need to do to build a brand and an image around your company or who you are. You need to make it different and you need to do it better than your competitors. And most importantly, is you need to add a value propositions. Many people, when they try to brand or market, what they end up doing is they give value and ask. They give and ask, give and ask, give and ask, or even worse than that, they just ask, and never really provide any value. Branding, what branding really comes down to is a lot of give, ask, give, ask. And it's really all about giving a lot of value to your clients. Now, this is also a chance to get very creative and have a lot of fun. So, make sure you do it right, spare no expense, but really get creative and fun with it. That's one reason why I've done some videos. I'm doing this podcast. It's just really a lot of fun to do this stuff, and I definitely recommend it. Which also brings me to blogging. Now, blogging or vlogging, which is just video blogging, or if you want to do podcasts, is a great way to make your business stand out. In my industry, so many people, so many realtors and real estate agents are not doing videos. They're not doing written blogs. They're not doing podcasts. And so that's one extremely easy way. If you start one of those three, it's a very easy way to really stand out to clients, stand out to customers that are going to come back to you, use you in your business. It's blogging, starting the podcast is all relatively inexpensive these days with websites, social media that allow you to do it for free. Heck, I mean, I can take out my phone right now and start recording the podcast using my headphones that came with the iPhone, and that's it. Get it posted. Nothing has to be professional. In fact, I'm sure if there's any audio expert out there listening, they're probably upset at my at this podcast episode of how horribly it's been edited. But the reality is, no one really cares. It's really the content, getting it out there. And if I provide someone value in this podcast, that's what really matters to that one person. It's not the quality of the audio. So same thing that applies to written word and to video content. And for most business owners, you just have to do it. Just get out there, start blogging or vlogging, or start doing an audio blog like a podcast, and just get your content out there. And I know some people get very picky on the content that they put out there. They tend to be perfectionists, and I highly recommend to get out of the perfectionist mentality and just put content out there. Just put it out there, because you never know when one item might go viral for you. Another tip is don't settle. What tends to happen is a lot of people will settle on the status quo. They get very comfortable in their business, and they tend to not adapt. They tend to just kind of sit back and enjoy the ride, which is not a bad thing. But what tends to happen is someone else comes along the way and takes your business. They put you out of business. They come in and they take a lot of your market share. And I think it's always good to constantly adapt. I always try to adapt my business somehow every year. Every 3 4 years, I do something major to where it puts me in a much better opportunity to pick up more business. So I think that's something that everyone just needs to do in their day-to-day business, and just keep in the back of your mind that you should always be trying to put yourself out of business as opposed to someone else. Because when someone else puts you out of business, it really sucks. When you put yourself out of business, well, I mean, it's a win-win situation for you, right? Definitely don't settle with a status quo. It's so worth it to take a little bit of time every day, even 30 minutes, 15, 20, 30 minutes every day, to just sit down and strategize about your day to day, your week to week, your year to year business, and just strategize on how to constantly evolve your business. I'll leave you with a final fifth tip here is dare to be different. If you really want to stand out and be different, you got to follow your gut many times as opposed to necessarily trying to do what everyone else does. One thing I have learned and still learning with this, with just launching this podcast, is, I went online, watched YouTube videos, read articles about how to start a podcast, the equipment to buy, how to do the format for interviewing guests, even doing solo monologue podcasts. And it's unbelievable the number of rules and strategies that people put out there that many people just listen to and follow as if it's a law. And the reality is, you don't need to follow all those rules. There are some basic stuff depending on what kind of format you want to do. But the reality is, for 99% of all business owners, doing a podcast or a video or a written blog, it's just getting additional exposure for you. It's about giving value to your clients. And we're not always trying to be the number one podcast on iTunes, right? So I think it's important to understand that, and then have fun with it, and understand that we don't have to copy or follow everyone else's formats. It's really whatever we want to do, that's what we should do. You're the owner of the business, and you get to decide how creative or how fun you want to be on the podcast or video or written blog. So stop worrying what other people are doing and just do you. Just do something that you love to do. And sometimes it's not even talking about your own business. What many people should do, and I'll use the real estate industry as an example. If you look on Facebook and follow real estate pages, you will notice a lot of people post the same thing over and over again. My open house. Here's my open house. Come see me at my open house. Look at my new listing. Look at my new listing. I just got an offer accepted. Blah, 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 blah. Every agent does this. It doesn't provide any value to anyone whatsoever. In fact, if you look at the people who like and comment on a lot of these agent posts, it's just other agents, because they think it's cool. They understand how hard you work to get an offer accepted, or how hard of marketing tactics you need to really work on to get a listing sold. So, and I totally get it. But when it comes to branding, that's where you have to be different. So if every real estate agent is out there posting pictures of their clients that just bought a house, posting, hey, I just got an offer accepted, blah, 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 I want to be different. I don't want to do the same thing. So that's why I'm doing videos. And the videos I'm doing are not home tour videos. What they're doing is, and I recommend you just to go over to facebook.com/Marc Guzman Homes, and you can watch the videos there. But some of the videos are really about what I do behind the scenes to run my business. You get to find out and get a little snippet of what I do in flipping properties, in remodeling apartments, in managing rentals, meeting with clients. I also volunteer with the local association and the state association of realtors. You get to see a little bit of that behind the scenes. I'm definitely trying to make it as different as possible than my competitor. Make sure that you dare to be different. Hey guys, thanks for listening. It really means the world to me. We have some great podcast episodes coming up, so make sure you tune in and listen to them. We have Lanny Clark from Prime Lending, Joe Gavaza from Gavaza and Associates, Michelle Keaton, Kim Staggs from the Bar Athletics. We have some great people lined up. I'm just so excited to really just get into these next few episodes. So make sure you listen. Again, thank you so much. I appreciate your ear in just listening to this podcast. I really want to thank all of you for listening. It means the world to me, and I hope today's episode provides you value in your day-to-day life. I created this podcast to help showcase the many great people that live in this world and help share some knowledge that I've learned along the way in life. Again, thank you for listening. Check out our sponsors, and I'll catch you on the next episode.